No matter what way you look at it, TANACON was a scam. Hi guys, welcome back to Haley's Comment, or welcome if you're new. Besides conspiracy theories, I make story times, mental health videos, Mandela effects, that kind of stuff. Before I start this video, I would like to say that I love Tana. I intend to continue supporting Tana unless something crazy happens, and I also think that we should keep in mind how young Tana is. She planned a convention that thousands of people would go to at 19 years old. Most 19-year-olds are like drinking 3 nights a week and barely waking up in time for their 8 a.m. And she only had a month to plan this. You probably would have failed too, okay? That being said, I love you, Tana, but you know, okay, if you know what's going on, here's a time marker, but for those of you who are like, what the heck is she talking about? Here's a brief summary. So VidCon is an annual convention that YouTubers go to meet their fans. They have featured creators, which are like really popular creators that have higher security, as well as they get into more parties, that kind of stuff. They rarely ever change who the featured creators are, even though YouTube is changing and YouTubers are popping up out of nowhere. Emma Chamberlain is a great example. Last year, Tana went to VidCon, and at the time, she had to have had at least 1 million subscribers. Now she's around 3 million, and apparently they had told her that she would be a featured creator because of that, but for whatever reason they decided not to make her a featured creator, and so she just had mobs of people following her around. It was unsafe. And so eventually she got kicked out because of it. She made a video talking about how much VidCon sucks.
I somehow make it to the back of my panel. I'm like 25 minutes late, but you know why I was late? Because every time I would walk to go behind the stage, security guards would stop me and say, "Where's your featured creator badge?" And then I would have to sit there with every single security guard and beg and plead and tell them, "Hey, I know that you don't know who I am, but if you look right up there, that 90-foot mural, yeah, that's my face."
It inspired a bunch of other creators who've had similar experiences to make a video about how much VidCon sucked for them too. Basically, everyone was on this high of like,
VidCon sucks, Tana, you should have your own convention.
And enough people said it that she agreed. She wanted to have it on the same weekend as VidCon to spite VidCon, but that meant she only had a month to plan it. So with TANACON, she wanted to fix all of the things wrong that she saw with VidCon. So she wanted it to be free and inclusive. It sounds great, right? Huge YouTubers agreed to come and be a part of the event, such as Shane Dawson and James Charles. They're huge, and the fact that this event was free, like, of course this was gonna go crazy. This was gonna blow up. So online ticket sales were popping, and so they decided to offer a VIP option. The VIP option was a $65 ticket that offered them first priority to meet creators as well as a gift bag. The gift bag was supposed to be worth way more than the cost of the ticket. That's what Tana said herself, when in actuality it contained a condom, stickers, and a bracelet. 5,000 people bought tickets to this event. There were quite a few red flags that they knew this was not going to go well. The first was that Tana announced the night before that people needed to sign up for meet and greets with their creators. It filled up so quickly that people who didn't have Tana's notifications turned on just missed it entirely. They were completely sold out by that next morning. And I get that the convention was planned super quickly, but waiting until the night before to tell people something like this, like, that's ridiculous. People should have known at the time of buying their tickets. That's false advertising. I'm sure so many people were just absolutely heartbroken. So many people flew in from all over the US and even all over the world. Like, people from other countries flew in for this convention, and now they weren't even sure if they were gonna be able to meet the creators, which is why they came to begin with. And while tickets were like either $1 or $65, relatively cheap for a convention, you have to consider that people spent money on plane tickets, on hotel rooms, on food. Trips aren't cheap to that area. So people started lining up outside of the Anaheim Marriott Suites before 6 a.m. They had no idea that they'd be out there for over 5 hours, and a lot of them wouldn't even get in. The line looked absolutely insane. I would have seen that and been like,
nope.
Another red flag was that there was only one line. Like I said, there were general admission tickets that were only $1, and then there were VIP tickets that were $65. And if they're supposed to have the priority, there should have been a line just for them, right? To me, that shows that most people must have had VIP tickets and they didn't want people to realize that they oversold the event, because it's not possible for 5,000 people to meet these creators. The convention wasn't that long. There's no possible way that that could happen. And they didn't want people to catch on that they weren't actually going to meet their creators like they were promised, and so they just had everyone in one giant line. And people are saying that the event ballroom could only hold 1,000 people anyway. Considering how small it looks from people's videos, I honestly don't doubt this, but before we make assumptions, I'm gonna call them after I make this video and we'll see what they say. Hi, I was just wondering how many your largest event center could hold.
Our largest crystal ballroom, no chairs, no dance floor, pretty much just like a social mix, walking around.
Right.
Would hold 1,000.
I don't know what to say. Like, do I talk about the fact that I was lied to about like venue and capacity sizes? Do I talk about the fact Michael literally got people from Anaheim Marriott to lie to me about that? Do I say those things, or do I just take full blame?
So obviously Tana and her team didn't plan for this many people coming. It's the first time they're ever having this event. It was planned so short notice. Like, of course they didn't plan for that many people, but at some point they had to have realized that it was getting out of hand. But yet they still kept promoting it. And they didn't change anything to be able to accommodate that many people. So they had to have known going into it that this was gonna be a disaster. There's no way they could have thought otherwise. They had barely any security. Police weren't even there. So most conventions, once you get in, you're in. You have to wait in line to get in, but after that, you're good, you're golden, you can stay, you can enjoy the night. But at TANACON, they were clearly banking on people getting in and getting out, or getting in and getting kicked out, which brings me back to the whole reason she had this. She wanted it to be inclusive, but in order for that to work, you have to have enough space and time to safely accommodate and entertain that many people. And James Charles came out and said that Tana refused his help. So that tells me that she knew going into this that it was going to be a show. She knew that it was being run poorly. Why wouldn't you accept help in a situation like that? Because it might turn the creator off from helping you if he realizes how terrible it's gonna go. But instead of owning up to their mistakes, Tana and her crew pretended like a bunch of people came who didn't have tickets. They said 15,000 people came and just ruined the event. 15,000 people extra. So let's generously assume that 5,000 people made it inside the venue. That didn't happen, but let's just assume. So is this what 15,000 people looks like? No, there's no way. I don't buy it. This is what 15,000 people looks like. Like, I'm pretty sure that's a bit of a stretch. People at the event were shouting that they wanted refunds. Refund! 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 Reasonably so. And Good Times, the company that Tana partnered with for this event, issued a statement saying that people can get refunds, but they have to email in order to get them. So that's good. At least they're planning to refund these people who wasted all this money, but it's still like people spent so much money for the whole trip and they got nothing out of it. I realize that Tana wears like Gucci and all that kind of stuff, but like there's no way she has $600,000 just to throw away on an event like this, because her team said that it cost around $300,000 to put together, which I don't doubt, especially since it was so last minute. And they said they would need to refund $250,000 to $300,000 worth of tickets.
We spent $300,000 producing the event, like $250 grand, and lose the $300K in ticket sales or whatever. Everyone on the team like loses their houses over this. Like everyone becomes homeless.
She was partnered with Good Times, so I don't know how much of it would be on them versus her, but like someone's going out of business here. Overall, this event was just planned absolutely horribly by a bunch of 20-somethings who clearly like had no idea what they were doing planning an event this huge. I personally don't think she did it for the money, because how would she have made any money off of this with how low tickets were and how much she would have had to spend on the company that she was working with, the venue last second, all of those things. Like, I don't see how she would have gotten a lot of money from this. But I definitely think that she and her team knew going into it that they were in over their heads, that it wasn't gonna go well, that it was gonna be a disaster. But they did it anyway, possibly for publicity or because they're so immature that spiting VidCon was worth risking their careers.
Michael can't keep doing this to people. Chris can't keep doing this to people, like just everything. Like, I get it.
Anyway, that was just, oh my god, I feel bad for everybody who went. I really do. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'll be back next week with an astrology video with Tori, if you guys know her. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.